What's up, guys? Chemist here from Meanwhile the Man Cave. We take a look at all things pop culture, games, toys, or anything we think is cool. And today we are taking a look at yet another Todd McFarlane DC Multiverse figure. This one is of Thomas Wayne as the Earth 2 Batman. Thomas Wayne of Earth 2 developed connections to the Falcone family when he saved Frankie Falcone from a gunshot wound. Falcone repaid the favor by introducing Thomas to a world of drugs and partying, eventually even introducing Thomas to his future wife, Martha. After an extensive period of time of partying and drugs, Martha becomes pregnant with Bruce. Upon that time, Martha pressured Thomas to settle down. When he decided to settle down, he let Falcone know that any dirt that Falcone had on him didn't even come close to the amount of dirt that Thomas had on him. Falcone eventually ends up sending Joe Chill to kill Thomas, Martha, and Bruce. Joe Chill did manage to kill Martha and almost killed Thomas. Thomas ended up convincing a nurse to fake his death and ended up going underground and dropping off the grid. Years later, Thomas returns to kill Joe Chill and the other three thugs are responsible for killing Martha. And eventually he ends up killing Frankie himself. Batman, who ends up investigating these crimes, finds out that Thomas was still alive, and when he confronts him, disowns him. Bruce Wayne's Batman ends up getting killed during the Darkseid invasion of Earth 2. And in honor of his son, Thomas ends up taking on the mantle of Batman. But unlike Bruce's Batman, Thomas's version isn't afraid to kill. Let's take a look at this box. First, it's just a window box. We get a preview of the figure here. Again, in case you forgot what you were buying, it shows the just the title of the figure itself on the side, and a little bit of artwork on the back of Thomas Wayne as Batman himself here. So, let's not waste a bunch of time. Let's pop this guy open and take a look. Alright, starting off here inside the box, we've got the artwork card here inside and the usual figure stand. We've gotten off most of the tape and twist ties from his retail encapsulation, and here's the figure itself. The paint app looks pretty good on this. Figure has a pretty good heft to it. Looks like it's going to have the standard McFarlane articulation. So let's start off with that, taking a look at that articulation right now. We're going to start off with his head. Again, left and right. Do have some backwards and forward. Obviously more forward than back. I'm not sure how you could adjust it so he has more of a range, but I wish they would, especially for some of the flying characters. This one it won't matter as much, but some of the Superman characters and things like that, I wish you could tilt their heads back further. Now, here at the shoulders, got the full lateral motion. Between the shoulder and the bicep, got the twisting. I do like that. The standard McFarlane double elbow joint. And at the wrist, you've got the standard McFarlane hinge that basically only goes the one way, you know, back and forth. But again, it's a hinge, which you can see right here. Just make sure that's lined up. I'm not sure why they don't just switch that to a ball joint. Ball joint would give you a lot more flexibility without the danger of having to make sure that that joint is lined up every time you want to pose him. Now, we do have his abdomen joint. Now, for me, that's a problem when you have a design on the costume. Because if you adjust this, which you can, he's got, you know, it's got some twisting here. But to me, that twisting is useless when you have that design get thrown off like that. Like, that just looks goofy. So I don't like that. The only way I could see you could correct that is if you would carry this all the way down. Now, it doesn't have to be solid, right? You could still have this joint and basically have this piece come down and kind of cover this. I don't know. So I think you could do that somehow. But, and let me see here. So you've got the crunch motion. Again, even when you got him crunching, it still throws off that design. And that would bug me. So I don't see myself posing him so that it disrupts that line. All right, at his waist, you do have some twisting there that I can utilize. It won't make anything look goofy. All right, at his legs here, you got it at his hips, you got the lateral movement along with forward and very little back for this. And it's because of these pants, the way these current figures are designed. There's where this piece comes down, it's all a solid piece, and there's not enough room for his thigh to go back. It runs into this piece here and stops the motion. To me, the only way to have alleviated that is if they at least made this material flexible. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm not an engineer, but I think that could have been a easy fix. It also would have been nice if you'd had a hinge here, or, you know, where you could actually spun the leg a little bit, give it some angles with your posing, but it does not do that. All right, you got your typical McFarlane double knee joint. Oh, you have that. And you've got a good range of motion for the foot, forward and back. There also seems to be, where this typical hinge is, it's very much like the wrist hinge. Does only go the one way, so make sure that's lined up. But that entire hinge seems to be on a ball joint up there, so you have some easy twisting there. So I do like that. I just don't know why they don't have more of the ball joints. I like the flexibility that a ball joint gives you. And you've got the toe joint, which is handy to have as well. So we're going to take a look at the one accessory that's in this pack and get him into some poses. So the one accessory that's here is a batarang. I don't know, I feel like you probably could have thrown another accessory in here. I think it would have been kind of cool if they'd thrown in a gun or something, since Thomas Wayne isn't opposed to using guns on Earth 2, especially with his mob ties. But, all right, let's get this figure in some poses, and I'll tell you what I think. All right, got him in a pose. I will say, to me, it was kind of a challenge to pose this guy. Couple different reasons. For me, the design, as you've seen if you've watched some of our other videos, any of these McFarlane figures that have like a design on their chest and with this abdomen joint, throwing off this design is a problem for me. So if it ends up looking like it's going to throw that design off, to me, I can't mess around with that joint. So that kind of renders that joint useless to me. So that was a challenge for me. The other thing was in the legs. Now, I was able to get one foot forward, the other kind of back. I wish we had a joint right here to be able to twist that leg, or even down here where the boot makes contact, to be able to twist the calf a little bit. That would make it easier to pose as well. I don't mind this pose, but to me, the posing is kind of limited based on the figure design and the aesthetics that I prefer. Overall, I like the figure. The paint app with the color scheme is very nice for a Batman figure. The cape is good. The cape actually helps him stand very well. Again, it's just the articulation that really limits how dynamic you can make this figure. So with the limitations on the posability of this figure, I just think it prevents a good figure from being a great figure. Anyway, I want to thank you guys all for tuning in, and come back for the next episode of Meanwhile in the Man Cave. I'll talk to you guys later.